Hello.
Hi.
Wow, that started quickly.
Yep.
There we go.
Hello. We are getting all kinds of screens pulled up for you guys.
Yes,
All
we're
kinds of fun.
super excited. Whew.
So many things to see.
Right. I cannot believe it is it's the first week of November and it's been close to 70 all week.
I know, right?
Right. Where's fall? I need fall.
And it's funny. I mean, I'm layering, but
Right.
I'm on and off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
been a lot more humid than usual.
yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure because we plan on sleeping on our camper the night before Thanksgiving, because we'll put the cats out there and then we'll get up in the morning. I'm sure that it'll be below freezing that night.
Of course it will.
Because
that's just how it goes.
That is just how it goes. All right. Well, welcome. We see a bunch of you guys joining us. Look at how
She's so
pretty.
I
Yeah.
wish you turned on.
I know.
But if you would like to, we do currently have the shell here at the shop. We are
Mhm.
taking it to Novi so you can see exactly the size, what the embroidery arm looks like, what the hoop looks like, all of those things we have. We just can't push the buttons
Not yet.
as of yet.
Soon.
Very, very soon. Hopefully within a couple weeks coming back from Novi, maybe even less. Who knows?
Right?
It just depends on where we're at on the list, I guess.
Yes.
So very excited. We're getting closer and closer.
Mhm.
And it will be here before we know it.
Yeah, both Brother and Babylock have basically come out and confirmed that they expect that the machines will start shipping to dealers the last week of this month,
Mhm.
which means that really the first week of December we should start having
Should have
machines here.
machines
We
here
should
that
maybe
we can
have.
open one and push buttons for you
That's
guys.
right. That's right. So we really are very, very, very excited that it's finally coming, and so excited.
So
And
there are so many things.
Right. And it's been a while since we really touched base about all of the new fun features that,
So, when we first came back, we touched on them and I had the video, but
yeah,
even then that was kind of,
Yeah.
not like up close and
No.
tight and whatnot. So I think there's a lot of fun things to show.
yes.
Just in time.
Yes.
You are absolutely right, Miss Judy. So thanks for joining us. And it's always good to watch on the ride home.
Yeah.
Nice to have something to do in the car if you're
Mhm.
the passenger, for sure.
Or listen
So-
if you're driving.
Or listen. Yes, don't watch and drive, though, please.
No,
we
do
don't want
not
that
want to be the cause of any.
So welcome to everyone who's joined us today. We are very excited to talk about these beautiful machines.
Yep.
So what we're showing you guys today will reiterate the fact that they really are the same underneath the cover.
Yeah.
So we've got videos from both Brother and Babylock that we're going to show, and then we'll talk about it. If you have questions, please feel free to pop those up, and we will do our best to answer them. Please remember, we haven't gotten to play on it either. So we may not know the answer, but we would certainly, if you have the question, we'll make sure we find the answer. So
Exactly. And lately, Brother and Babylock have been sort of spamming the social media networks with new videos, and we have some little ones here that we think are super helpful and some of our favorite techniques. I know, and things that are coming. I know you're really excited about the projector. I love my projector. I love my camera. I'm really excited about the stitch regulator.
and I can totally see why.
Yeah.
And, I do free motion very small things. So
Right.
like 12 by 12,
Mhm.
placemat, even table runner
Right.
size.
Right.
Once I get past table runner, I'm going to do it either in the hoop or I'm going to give it to somebody else to deal with.
Exactly.
But I can tell you that my confidence in sitting down in front of that,
Mhm.
even just having seen it
Yeah.
working, it's fantastic.
Right.
It has the projection built into that, so you know exactly where
Mhm.
your field is available.
Yeah.
And the sensors work very, very well.
Right.
So they did a great job. So I'm super excited. Maybe I'll start doing that more.
Maybe.
Maybe the reason I don't do it is because I sucked before, and this will help.
I always say to people, a lot of people really think that their free motion quilting is
Mine's
terrible.
not as bad as I think it is, I'm sure. But
It really isn't. And I always tell people, if you're smooth, even if your stitches don't look even, if you can find a smooth rhythm, even if it goes faster and slower and the stitches are smaller and bigger, it is way more forgiving than if you're just like, oh, wait, stop. So just find your rhythm.
the things that I tend in stitch regulator will not fix this. I'll get myself into a corner and go, oh, crap, how do I get out?
How do I get out? Yeah.
Which, of course, your stitch regulator is not going to
No,
magically
just
fix for you.
cross the line.
So I don't even attempt to not
Yeah.
cross the line. I loop.
Yeah.
I don't try to stipple because I'm going to screw that up. So why even start
Right,
that way?
yeah.
So I just doodle, and I'm not as bad as I think. I mean,
No,
I
most
started
people
off pretty dang rough. I'm not going to lie. It was ugly.
Yeah.
But so I think
get
most
better.
people's are.
Yeah, you
So,
get
but the stitch, excuse me, regulator, we I think have something somewhere we can find with that. We'll see how time goes, because it always goes so much faster than we think it's going to. So we plan these things, and then we're like, "Holy crap! It's 4:30. Guess we better stop." So, hi, Mom. So should we jump in?
We should.
All right. So the first video we have is on one of my favorite features. So I definitely use my camera. But so if I muted, will it not play the sound? Let's see.
Yeah. Let us know if you can't hear us, or if you can't hear the video.
Yeah, because I muted my microphone, but I'm not sure what that'll do to the speaker part. We'll find out.
Yeah.
A lot of this you won't actually need to hear anything anyways. It's really the
Exactly.
buttons and whatnot. So this is the supersized projection field. As you can see there, it's big. It is a 5 by 8 inch field. So it's definitely there. This one. Better?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to hit play here. Yep.
What if you turn the volume on your computer on and we see how that works?
Yeah, let's try that. Because its volume is on here.
Right.
So hang on. Let's try that.
By 5 projector, and we could use that for sewing and embroidery.
Pause that
Now
for just a
on
second.
Radiance, we've gone to a
Let me see if I can change that with.
All right. I can probably kind of say what she's saying.
Yeah.
Let's just go that route. So we can route this again.
We didn't plan that very well, did we?
No.
I didn't
Well,
make a
I was still logging in
plan.
when we actually started. So I'm sorry about that. Here we go. So this is the 5 by 8 projection field. As you can see, you have tools now in the projection. So you can resize, move, rotate, and all of those things literally while you are projecting. You no longer have to exit out of the projection, go into that editing feature, edit, and then go back and see, did you like what you did?
Right.
You can see it happening in true time by using those different buttons. So the pen, as you can see by where this is a Babylock video, because it said Babylock on her pen there. You use the pen that comes with the machine to click.
Now, it is possible that they can hear this on their
It's possible
end.
you guys can hear and we just can't because we're muted on my side. But
if we're talking over the video and you can actually
tell
hear
us.
that, just let us know, because we can't hear that here.
Yep. So there were the different options. Notice that the tools look a little different this time. You actually can position your tools into the corners across the bottom. You can minimize it completely if you want, so that it is not in your way. So you can move those. So we're moving into the next feature. So here's the rotating feature, and then using the arrow, you'll move into the next, and this is resizing. And then the last one is just move arrows. So you're actually moving your design while it's being projected in the hoop, which so nice. And then again, sorry, the ability to actually see that as it's happening is really great.
Right.
So, and then again, you can minimize that, and it's just going to go all the way down so it's not blocking.
Oh, good. Shirley only hears you speaking, and for a minute, Jane was like, boo-hoo, a new machine, but then she corrected that as to boo-hoo.
Woohoo! Yes, so that is the new projection field, and it is such a great upgrade because of the size and because of the added features that they put in that.
Exactly.
In addition to that, they've taken that projection and built it into the other systems so the sewing, the free motion, stitch regulation,
Right.
all of those, so you can see and it projects down.
Yes.
Because of the larger field, your sewing features and everything, which we'll show you in a few minutes, are also
Exactly.
bigger and better.
Bigger and better. Yeah. And if you have a luminaire, you understand how substantial that size is and how clear that was, because it was definitely not that clear before. If you have never had a luminaire and you have an older machine or a Dream or a luminaire, oh my gosh, like you
This
don't
is going to
even know.
absolutely blow your mind.
That's right. The ability, it's like having an iPad for with all of the fun sewing features
Exactly.
that it can do. You know, every time your iPad or your phone or your cell phone gets a new update and like your camera gets better and you're super excited because now I can take pictures
Even
at
better
night.
pictures. Right. So in the Luminaire and in the Solaris, the projector was projecting from right in front of the needle. So that's why we had that limited field, because you remember back in school, you know, when you needed it to go bigger, you had to pull the projector farther away from your screen that was on the wall.
Right.
We did that in school back in the day. So
Right.
I'm assuming most of you had that at some point as well. Maybe not if you're a youngin'. But because it was here, it could only be so big.
Mhm.
So they actually have moved it, and it's in the left side, the end of the machine. And so it's actually up into the machine, which is what gives us that larger field. So they have reworked all of that. The only thing that you have in there is you do have the shadow of the foot that's going to rest in the upper right hand corner of your projection field because of where the projector is at. But it's so big, it doesn't really matter. You still have so much room to
You
play.
now have stuff behind it as well. So before, the projected field was always in front, and now we've got projection on basically all four sides,
Right.
which is really cool.
It is, and it's behind the needle, which is huge, especially in the sewing features.
Yes.
So we'll get to that. So the brother video on the Stitch Vision, if you want to swap that
Yep.
there, make that big.
Let
So
me find the right button. It wasn't that one.
Nope.
That one.
there we go. So here is the brother video. So the brother is the Aveneer, and this is the new projection called Stitch Vision. So this is pretty quick. So you bring in your design, you hit the projector, and boom. So you can see in that back corner there, that little shadow in the back, that is from the foot. And then this is showing you again those different features
And
and
they're
being able to
actually-
move. And so this is a little bit of the sewing features as well.
Right. That giant grid.
So those angles that go behind, the
Dots.
lines that go behind.
Yeah.
So when you're making sure that you're sewing straight, you actually have a line behind the foot
Mhm.
to make sure you're not twisting things behind the foot as
Right.
well. And when you're lining up the different pieces, you can make sure everything stays right on par.
Exactly.
So a little bit shorter video, still the same kind of information.
So Judy wants to know, can't you just remove the foot for placement? I mean,
Technically, but
yeah, but then you have to screw the whole
you
foot
got to
on.
put it back on. So yes is the answer. You could do that, and then the shadow would not be there.
Right.
I in the visuals that I had access to at
Mhm.
Brother,
Yep.
it wasn't actually in the way. So everything that you need, your tools are all going to be in the front.
Yeah.
And the lines and everything are still there, so you can see everything. So it's not actually in the way from much perspection. So I didn't perceive it to be enough of an issue that I would want to remove my foot. But the bottom line, yes, you could if you wanted to.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
absolutely could.
Absolutely. All right. So when the Luminaire came out with the buttonhole foot, well,
Right.
Luminaire and Solaris,
Yes.
I don't want to leave anybody out.
No,
When they came out with that large button foot, I was like, holy crap.
it's huge.
It's absolutely huge. And so when they said, well, it's going to project
Right.
the lines, I thought just like where to place, it's going to show me where it's going to stitch the buttonhole. That was what I envisioned. When they said, projected buttonholes, I was like, oh,
They're going to show me the.
they're
picture
going
of
to
the
show me a
buttonhole.
picture of the buttonhole so I can make sure that it's in, wherever it's marked,
Right.
I'm going to be able to stitch it in exactly the spot that I want. But wait,
We were wrong. We were
there's
so wrong.
so much more to it than that. Yes, it does show you where your buttonhole is going to stitch.
Right.
But there are all of these lines and things that you can use to make sure that they're spaced evenly so
Yep.
that you have an equal distance. And then there's settings on the screen that you tell it, I want my buttonholes to be 2 inches apart, 3, whatever. And then there's also a line that you would use for like the placket of your shirt. So how far over to make sure that they're right left as well. There is a horizontal feature as well as a vertical feature built in. So
there's a lot of possibility.
Whole bunch of wow on this one.
Right.
Let's see if I can find that video. So we were going to go to buttonholes. All right. So this is on the Aveneers. Again, we're going to show you a little video from both so you guys can see they really are basically the same. So she is talking. She's going to tell you pretty much everything I have just done, but I'll try to point things out as she's going through it. When we downloaded this video versus playing them live on YouTube, which is what we're doing, the brightness got really whack. So, which is why we're doing it this way. So, she's pointing to the 3 black dots. That is what tells the machine how large of a buttonhole to make. So you place your buttonhole there. I'm sorry, you place your button there. Some of the smaller ones, you're going to have that in the back, not in the front. But this is basically looks the same as your Luminaire or Solaris foot. So there's the simple. It shows you where, how big, and you can see it will adjust as you make. So now it's bigger. She slid that out. Bigger buttonhole. So you can see that. Very cool. Very straight on. And if you cover up one of those black dots, the projection goes away. So it needs to see those. So you can't have anything sitting over top of those. When you turn on the lines, which is the button she just tapped on screen, you get this beautiful guide of what do you want. So look at all those lines that are being projected. And we can adjust those different lines. So you can say, this is the end of my first one. This is where the next one's going to be. So you can line up the previously stitched buttonhole with the lines that are there. And then it will stitch right in line.
And you can change the colors of those lines so they make more sense for your brain.
Or the fabric that you're projecting on. So if you've got green fabric, you don't want a green line because you're not going to be able to see very well. So you can adjust the colors so you can see much better. And again, you can adjust the distance between all of those. So you can get exact, perfect placement of your buttonholes. The line, so here's the horizontal aspect. So you can see the lines are going in a different direction now. She switched it to horizontal. So if you picture maybe buttons on a decorative pillow and you've got like an envelope fold and you want 3 buttons across the back of that fold, this would be how you would do that. And you would use the orange line there for the edge of your fold of your fabric there, and then you would stitch those. That orange line is now all the way to the right. Can't tell if you guys, I have no idea if you guys can tell it's orange, but the line that's coming off the needle plate in the front there is orange, and that is where you would put the edge of your material. And again, you can adjust that line as you would like.
That's where on the screen it says like spacing and cloth edge guide. That's
Cloth
what
edge guide. Yep. Distance from the edge. So you can adjust all of those things. And it's very clearly written out there and very clearly marked what color is what. So you can denote that in the projection. So much more than just here's my buttonhole. It gives you so many tools to make sure that you have perfect placement. So I don't do a lot of buttons, but I have done buttons down the back of a pillow. Mine did not look as good as they probably could have. This would have been very helpful. I mean, I didn't do bad because I marked them and everything, but how awesome is that? And you notice that she's using the smaller pen. You do get that with the machine as it's a dual tip now. So one side is the fine tip and the other side is the projection tab.
And I would say the thing that I get asked a lot about buttonholes is, you know, how do I know exactly where it should start and stop? Well, with this projected image, you have, it doesn't matter.
It takes all of the guesswork out.
You're going to place your foot exactly where it says that it needs to do it, and it's going to do everything for you. And then you just slide that up and place the buttonhole that you did on the next line, and it's going to perfectly line everything back up.
So your spacing between each buttonhole will be perfect.
because we've
Doesn't
had,
get any easier than that.
you know, we've had duplicatable buttonholes for years,
Right.
but we didn't have
A placement guide.
the placement guide. We had to manually do that.
So I actually saw, so here's an example of the larger button and whatnot. And you do have a guide that you can place on there to keep the fabrics together and not shifting and
That's
everything
what
in there too.
that is.
So that's what that little guy does. So cool. I just think it's phenomenal. I don't do a ton of buttons, but I know that this will definitely be something I will love when I am doing them.
I mean, the thing about not doing them frequently
Because
is
it's a pain in the butt.
well, it's a pain in the butt, but also, you know, you have to get back in the groove of things, right? You know, it takes us, you know, anyways, it takes me a minute to like, okay, what button, where did we hide that feature?
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
we are on so many different machines all the time. You know, they don't put things in the exact same position in all of the sewing machines. So, you know, where do we go for the buttonhole? Or where did we move the? Yesterday, someone asked me how to delete a design that was saved in their favorites, and I was like, oh, there's a button. There's a button. Where is the button? Oh, it's the one down at the bottom that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't say delete on it. You have to go into edit mode, and then you get a delete button, and it's like, but yeah, it does take the guesswork out, and that is the key. You don't. I don't know about you, but I get a lot of, oh wow, that's very high tech. That scares me.
Right.
It is so high tech. It's simple. Is really where it's at. They have taken the guesswork out, and you literally just fill in the blank and then hit stitch.
Yeah, it's not complicated tech. It is easier to.
Very
This is easier
user-friendly.
to use than the new update on my iPhone.
Yeah, and my phone keeps updating, and it's super annoying because
they do not come with a 10-year-old to explain it.
They don't. And I no longer like asking my kids for help. It's they just laugh at me now.
Right.
It's like, you're old, Mom, and it's like, I'm not that old. It changed to make it go back. They think it's fun.
Yes.
So I do have the Babylock version. You'll see that the projection is the same. So they might show something slightly different, but I don't know what, because it's pretty much there. This is another couple minutes. This is Mike Johns. He's great. He's so much fun.
He is. He's hysterical.
He is, and I love the accent. Just makes everything better. Accents always make everything better.
Yeah,
It's just
he's
a southern accent,
Mm-hmm.
but you can see they've got colored fabric instead of white fabric, so that's a little bit different viewing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see the colors show up, and it's nice and simple. So you will go into the buttonhole menu, and then up at the top you would hit the line,
The guideline.
guideline markers. So that's what he's hitting there. And then it says, hang on, okay, I'm ready. And then it pops up. So there again are all of those guides, and you can select which ones that you want. There's that little toggle switch. So if you don't want all of it, you can turn something of that off. You can see all of the different colors, and even the orange on the orange shows up pretty good. So the colors are nice and vibrant. They did a really nice job. We originally had red, green, and white, which sometimes didn't work on some of the fabrics. So it's really nice that we have so many color options to work with. So he's currently pointing out that line that you would put your placket edge up to so that they're equally spaced. Again, all of the same kinds of things. And then the projector, you can see all of the different lines that are there. So you've got the current stitch, you've got the previous stitches, so that you can line all of that up and making sure that it's exactly where you wanted it to be. Very cool. Any questions on this?
I don't see any questions. No.
All right. I think we're good to stop.
Yep.
All right. There's a couple more minutes there. These are, again, just off of YouTube. So if you wanted to go back and watch anything again, you certainly can. It is pretty straightforward. There's some much longer videos we're not going to pull up today. But if you want even more, there is even more than what we've got here. So, all right. The next video we were going to talk about is this one, expanded guidelines. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. All right, so guideline markers are for use in sewing.
Yeah.
So it's using the same projection field that we have because it's the same projector that goes in both embroidery and sewing. But these are the different things that we have available specifically for sewing.
Yes.
So have you ever done pencil quilting?
Yes.
This new feature that's being shown right here is exactly perfect for that. And you can still adjust the size and all of those things, but this is kind of one of those things. So let's just check out. I think this one's Patty, but I could be wrong.
And notice that it goes behind the foot. They always stop in front of the feet.
Right.
They don't go through
So
the
you
foot.
can't
and they don't
ensure
go
that you're
behind it.
staying
Yeah.
online.
I love it.
So that extra projection that goes back there, just like here, it's behind the foot. It gives you just so much more to work with.
Right.
I love my luminaire and I love my projection and I use those features all of the time. I am just super excited about all of the added features in here. So we can again make adjustments for so many things now in the projector, and that's what she's showing. We have the ability to change the size, the width of our stitch, the length of our stitch. I believe the tension is also in there. Again, I haven't actually got to push the buttons, but I believe you can also change. How did I ever do that? It's very rare for me to change the tension. I'm not going to do it there. I'm going to do it in my bobbin case in general.
Right.
But it's nice that we have that there. So this is the sewing settings versus your embroidery settings that we showed you originally.
Yep.
So just so cool. You can see the line to keep everything lined up. You can have multiple lines. You can have a single line.
Yep.
Change the color of all of those lines.
And just to clarify, you have a projector which will project the tools, and then you have guideline markers which will also project what she's showing now. So the first thing was the projected image, which is where you got your tools, and now she's showing all of the different things that you can do. You've got a main and a sub. We had a main and a sub, so that's not new.
That's not new, but what you can do in each of those, they've added to, and the lines are different.
And the colors and how many choices you have, and all of those things are different.
So you can see here with the line length, we have a much longer line available. So if you went from a Dream or Destiny into a Luminaire or Solaris, you actually lost a little length because of it was projected instead of that laser line that was just shot down there. So we're gaining that back plus some in this new projection field. And you can select what one that you are needing. And you can also select whether it's a line, a crosshair, or just a dot. So you have all of that power. And then she's going to start talking about the subline here. So in the subs, we had a second line, we had the grid, and we had angles. We now have many more things.
Yes.
So
and the grid is substantially different.
The grid is, you have so much more. It's just such a bigger space. So you can still change the size of those squares and the space between each of those lines. So, and again, you can change the color. You get the grid that pops up on the bottom to change that depending upon your fabric color or what it is that you need. So lots and lots of options in there. My bad. All right, so the next thing is the angles. This is cool. This was cool before, but they added to it. And in addition, so we had, I don't remember, we had 90, 45, and something else. 15?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, whatever, doesn't really matter. But we've got double the different angles.
Right.
And the really cool thing is it actually goes around the back of the foot too. So it projects behind again for that larger angle. You physically can see that. So cool. I have no idea what she's saying. Oh, there we go. So you get, so if you're looking for echo quilting, and then you can also change the size of that. So how close do you want to be to the echo line to be to your original applique or whatever it is that you're echoing around. So that is a completely new feature that was not there before. And again, it goes out behind as well. Pencil quilting, we talked about, that would be a great use for this current one that she's showing here. Then of course you can turn it off. So if you don't want the stuff, So sometimes you only want one line. If you're doing like a half square triangle or something like that, and you just need that one,
Yeah.
it works really well. And that is a great option for that. This one is Brother's kind of version of that. Her name is Sarah. I gotta find that. I think it goes down a little farther. Guidelines and angles. Is that what I was doing? Nope. Leabu Sewing features. This one, right? This was just the ad. So this is the guidelines and angles.
Yeah,
You want
that's
to do
her
that one?
version of the one
So
we
this
just
is
watched.
the kind of the Brother version, if you will. So you can see how much longer that line is. You can fit your entire half square triangle and follow that from point to point.
Right.
Much easier than we could before, where we were kind of guesstimating a little bit in the middle.
Exactly.
You actually have that. She's showing you the crosshair option, and then you can change the length of said crosshair and the color as well. And of course, you can reposition those.
Yep. And she hasn't put the projector on yet, so those other tools are not projecting down. And you can tell that by the top of the screen. You've got like 3 little icons, and she didn't have the second icon.
So right there, up at the top of the screen.
You know what? I didn't.
Oh, should we hold that thought?
It is so hard to get good help.
Can we try that again?
We should try that again.
Okay. Yeah.
We're all watching it. No one else.
We're watching it, and you're like,
Take
"What are we
2.
talking about?"
Yeah,
right?
We're just special today.
I'm special every day.
We're more
I
special.
admit
We're
it.
extra special.
Extra special today. So you can see that the crosshair and the line, how much longer that line is, as I was saying a few seconds ago.
Yep.
Half square triangle, so much easier when you have that longer line.
Yes.
So that larger projection field is definitely going to come into play. That is one thing I use that line for a lot. So it's really great. Crosshair you can change the size of as well, and the position of. So if what we were talking about is these little icons right here on the right half of the screen, right at the top left corner of that part, only it looks kind of like a spatula.
Yeah.
Somebody called that something else, but I don't remember what it was now. But to me, it looks like a spatula.
Kind of looks like a spatula.
But that is the guideline button. Next to that is the projection button. So right now we just have the guideline on. This is nice. I should show both the screen and the. So here's the options that we talked about on the Babylock machine. You can see those are all the same. It's just a matter of what you want them to look like, how close you want those lines to be. Again, pencil quilting, you can say how close you want those lines to be, and you can just follow those along. Super easy. You can change the colors, change the color of the sub versus, or you can have those all be the same depending upon, this is my stitch line versus not my stitch line.
Exactly.
And then here's the angles you can see. So if you're trying to sew into a point, where do I stop?
Yep.
This will give you that stopping point, which is great. And then you have all the way around the back. So this is where I was saying it goes behind the foot too. So it starts going behind the foot as well.
Nice.
So cool. And it also goes to the right, which we didn't have before. We only had the one direction.
Right.
So, so it's just an amazing feature that they have added in, and the functionality of it is simple. As soon as you remember what button to push to turn it on, that's all you got to know is what button to turn it on, because everything else is very upfront and simple to read and make. So you can see here, she's using that angle to make her sashing strips or her binding strips, whatever, and making that go from corner to corner, plus making sure that that is staying lined up. And it's perfect because it's all right there. And as long as you follow that, and she's going to actually sew. So how many of you guys do this and then you're like, oh, that didn't.
I got that little hump in the
middle. You
middle.
got just that little extra piece that you didn't need. So, but look how perfect that is. And you can just project that down and you can fly through. Then your only possible mistake would be, did I put it on in the wrong direction? So when I folded it, I have one up and one down.
Right.
We can't fix that.
No. No.
but you can see how that lines up absolutely perfect. And such a cool thing. And that is, again, a feature that is used all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not a, so that's Sarah.
Yeah.
She's super sweet.
That's the other Sarah.
Another
many
Sarah.
Sarahs.
There's so many Sarahs. So those were the ones that we had picked out. There are many other videos for sure.
Yeah.
So you had said the stitch regulator was one of the things. Is there anything else that, like, holy crap?
I mean, I'm excited about this big hoop.
So you can literally, they had like a hoop challenge at Babylock. I don't know if they talked about this at Brother or not. Like, in there, this is massive.
Right.
This,
I should find the. I don't think it's hanging.
we don't have it.
No.
So this is 11 5/8 by 18 1/4 embroidery field. So the hoop itself is even larger because, of course, it has to have room for your foot to move around. But it's just it is so big. So they have actually remastered how the hoop goes together. And there is a little dive-in notch that you make sure that you get to the top of the hoop in, so it locks it in. So that pop-out problem, if you will, is no longer a problem because of that notching feature. And they have,
Looks so
I know, right? And they have also put in metal up through the bottom and reinforced that metal. So you have the notch that locks it in place, the metal on the side to keep from bowing, and then we have the clamp at both the top and the bottom. So we will actually teach you how to use this hoop because that notch system.
You want to stand them up next to each other on the machine?
So our handles are down. We're going to line, should I do the bottom?
Yeah.
So this is lining these corners up. How much bigger that hoop is.
Into because I am super sophisticated.
So this one in front is 10 5/8 by 16. The one in the back is an inch taller, so it's 11 5/8 by 18 1/4. So it's 2 1/4 inches longer sewing field.
Yep.
And an inch in width. There is so much you can do in this, and they have designed new embroidery designs to fill that hoop that are really, really cool. Disney is another. And for every Disney design, there's in Babylock, you have an alternative thing that they've added in as well. So they have just done so very much to add in.
Yeah, there's a bunch of new designs in there. We have new fonts. I actually have the new font files stitched out someplace.
They were over on the machine, actually.
They were. I'll be right back again.
Okay. So we've also got the info sheet, if you will. And when she's got so many buttons, I don't know which button to push, and I'll end up messing up whatever she does have. But it talks about all of those. While there is also a really, really cool feature. If any of you have Brother or Babylock computer software for creating designs, it's either Palette or PE Design, that has a photo stitch section in the software. So this would be done on your computer. They have taken that system and adapted it and put it into this machine through the Design Center, and it gives you the ability to actually create a photo at the machine. So these are the new fonts, right?
Yep, these are the new fonts.
So we've got here, how about
You hold and I can zoom in. Got it?
yes.
Okay. Zoom.
Fair and straight, kind of.
Yeah, that's good. Check out those new fonts.
So in addition, we didn't lose anything other than like Chinese
We
type,
lost the Chinese one. Yeah.
but no standard fonts. But we've added in these new guys, and they do have names, and they'll have numbers on screen. But in all honesty, those don't mean a whole lot unless you're offering somebody a font choice, and then you just say, "I want, do you want,
right.
West whatever, or do you want?"
Yeah.
whatever
And
it happens
they
to be.
have changed how the font thing works. We had like small, medium, and large.
Yep.
Now they're in like the point system, which is similar to what we use in our
Word. So,
Word.
you know, do you want
Yeah,
12, 10, 14,
exactly.
that kind of thing. So it's just a little bit more, it's much more fine tuned,
Yeah.
and you can get an exact piece from that, much easier to go from there. So I'm actually going to pop over.
And then if you are into like the quilting designs from the design center, there are 6 new quilting designs in there, and these are more like, I would say, universal designs.
They're a little bit more generic.
They're a little more generic, that maybe, you know, sometimes there's big flowers and things like that,
and
you're
it's
like,
hard to manipulate that into whatever yours is.
Right.
This is going to fill in behind
It's
the
like a
design.
hair.
Oh, isn't that fun? And then it's like tickling you, and
Yes.
it's stuck in your glasses, and
Yeah.
you can't get it out, especially when you have that magnet thing.
Right. Oh.
So these are the 6 new ones. I gotta say, I like all of them. You can layer them,
Yes.
so you can add. You know, you could take this and turn it so that you have diamonds. That, you know, you could do so many different things.
Yeah.
And combining the different fills as well. So this is just super, super cool. And I was going to see if I could find a photo stitch. It's not called photo stitch. Picture play. I'm going to zoom through some of this.
See if you can find the cool spot.
Kathy's very long-winded. So
You could maybe play it at like faster speed. How long is it? 10 minutes. Yeah, let's do so go to your settings and
playback speed.
we can do like or 2, or you can
Let's
start
try
it
this
and
one
see.
and see how it does.
Yeah.
So you can pull in your image. This is just a image of a puppy dog. On the picture of the machine itself, it's a flower. So you can see demo flower on her screen right now. So you can grab whatever your image is that you want to digitize and create those stitches. And then you have the ability to change the size. You can play with that, stretch it, make it bigger, all of those different things. You can also rotate it 90 degrees. So depending upon the shape of your picture, maybe you needed a landscape.
Exactly.
So you could rotate it and get the size and things that you need. You can also put a mask on it right here. Mask would take away your corners, so on and so forth, and you can resize as well. So they have put a lot of bang in this feature. You tell it what hoop size you are going to use. You don't generally do these very small. These are generally going to be larger stitch outs. They do tend to be fairly stitch intensive, and trying to pack all of those stitches into that tiny, it ends up being just kind of a lot. So they do definitely recommend the larger. And then you can remove the background. This removing of the background feature is huge.
Pretty cool.
It is in a lot of the Apple products, you know, by holding so it's the same concept. And you have the ability to do that right again in the machine. You don't have to remove it first and then bring it in. You can do that right here. What she's showing here are the different filters that you can apply to that. So you get different styles, and it will change the look of what is happening up there. So you can do, they have names. I have to
pencil,
look them up.
neon,
you know, sketch,
Novo, cartoon,
all different things. And it will change the way that looks. So once we get, I will probably try to do a thing that one or have somebody do.
Yeah.
But we will have an actual sample of the same picture stitched in the different techniques so that you guys can see those varying pieces as well. She's using the magnetic hoop, which is highly recommended, just because there are so many stitches that it will keep that fabric from shifting at all in the hoop.
Right.
So you can see the colors here. You can change how many colors. So if you do have the Brother or Babylock software and have used this feature, this might look a little familiar. You can tell it, you know, I don't want to change 15 colors of thread. I just want to do 10. So you can lower that down and it will reevaluate and change how that works. You can also change the brightness so that the colors that it tells you to use will be altered as well. This is huge.
Yeah.
To have this much play power built into the machine. It's amazing. And there are a lot of companies that have tried to do photo stitch.
Yeah.
That have bombed at it. And not only does Brother have and Babylock have it in superior form in their software, they now have actually put that superior form in your embroidery machine. That it just blows my mind. It is huge. This is the kind of thing is why we ended up having to get a new operating system, because of we needed that extra processing power to be able to do all of the wonderful things, the larger projector, the stitch regulator, all of those things needed more oomph to be able to run all of those systems, which unfortunately is why we got set behind, is because of that new operating system. That said, all of the systems work, and they've been working. They just need to get them all working together, which was where the operating system came in. So you can see the picture here by changing that style. You can see it looks not like regular stitches, and that's what we were talking about. So this is a really neat feature. I'm sure that there's a Babylock version of this too, but I just wanted you guys to see it because it's huge.
It's very cool.
And I can't tell you how many of you guys have come in and say, I want to stitch this. Well, do you have this? Do you have, nope. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I can't help you. You know, it's all right there. Yeah. It's so cool.
Right. So cool. Yeah. For just a fraction of the cost of the software.
but you don't have to make that additional piece as well. So,
and so many people struggle with computer in general. So this is a lot easier than trying to open up any embroidery software. People ask me, at least someone asks me every single day, you know, how easy is it? I just want to create my own design. And I'm like, well, can you use a computer? Like, do you know how to do file open and file save? No, well, it's going to be a little bit harder.
It's going to be a little harder for you.
Yes, because graphic software is not, it isn't for the faint of heart.
It's not plug and play. So you don't just turn it on and you magically know how to use everything.
No, I don't find them to be intuitive for people who have never used graphic software. You know, if you
it's certainly learnable, don't misunderstand. But it's not like you're going to sit down if you've never done it before and tell it, I want this to be a picture and I want it to look just like that. That doesn't happen.
Not how it works.
But that's how it works.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
Literally that easy in the machine, which is just wicked cool.
It is.
It is absolutely amazing. So this is the information sheet of the Radiance. You can see down here, it just gives kind of like the big points. So we talked about stitch sync, which is the stitch regulator. All right. And do you want to say anything about that, or have we said everything that?
I mean, it's got a lot of neat features, so I haven't had an opportunity to play with it. So I haven't necessarily. I was
gonna say who has, but there are a few.
I haven't been able to. I can't compare it to like the Bernina version because I haven't had an opportunity to play with it. Once it's here, I will definitely be able to give you an opinion on the differences. Though I will tell you, from what I have seen, it is very similar to the concept. Someone is going to tell you that there is an infrared light on the bottom and it's not going to work with red color or it's not going to work with this. That's not how they work. It reads the grain of fabric. That's how they all work. It'll work. And it's going to work on a variety of different features. The foot right now is not like it doesn't have like a ruler work foot adaptable for it. But part of that is because it's kind of long and boxy and you can't get anything underneath it. So I think if I had to say there was only one thing that I was a little disappointed about, it would be that it doesn't look like that will be something that they can easily add
without
to
changing the foot.
Without changing the foot. That being said, we've had different
hardware pieces and upgrades before, so it's not an unheard of.
It's not, thing. And honestly, you might even be able to just get a different shank for the foot, where it raises up so that you could put a foot underneath it, and then that
get the ruler
and the ruler would still work. But you know, I always say a lot of times the people who are creating these things are not the people who are sewing
actively using them. And so until we say, "Hey, we would like to see this," they don't even think of it. They think they hit it out of the park, and you're like, "You did, except for this." And they're like, "Oh, we can do that." You know.
And you know, there's some interesting features about like telling you when you get to the end of your fabric and when you're really close, and it'll be really interesting to see for me to see how that is applicable, because of course my hand is there, so I know I'm at the end. So what is that? How is that?
How far behind the foot
you
have the sensor can continue to read? So if you bring your fabric too far
Right.
forward and you don't have enough fabric there, the
Right.
sensor's not going to work. So the line there tells you,
Mhm.
nope, don't go past this, don't
Right.
pull your fabric, which is where you need that border,
Mhm.
which you should have anyways.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing that, you won't have any issues.
Right.
If you just throw down a fat quarter sandwich
Mhm.
and you're trying to go all the way to the edge of a fat quarter,
Right.
and your batting is the same size as your backing, and so you're not going to be able to make it to the edge because the sensor can't read that far.
Right. Right.
One of the things that I liked, and again, I haven't used it either, it was just
Mhm.
watching other
Right.
things. I really liked the projector, even if you took that part out.
Yeah.
The don't go past this line.
Right.
It has the ability to put the echo feature
Mhm.
projected while you're
so
doing
you can echo so
so
much
you
bigger.
can echo, and you can change that echo size as
Yeah,
well. So you
without-
can use the projector
Right.
sewing features
Yes.
in the stitch regulator. So the pencil quilting,
Mhm.
I want a guide. I still want it to be
Yeah.
not like ruler tight, but I
Right.
want,
Right.
I want a free motion, but this is what I want it to kind of guide me to.
Uh-huh.
The echo, do I want to do a circle? Do I want to just have it a quarter inch around,
Exactly.
whatever? You have the ability to mix and match
Mhm.
the cool new features to really benefit you depending upon,
Yeah.
because we all do different things. So
Right.
like when
And-
you were saying, that really excites you. The projector excites me because of the
Right.
embroidery.
Well, and
And-
the other brands who have stitch regulators, they don't have projectors.
Right.
So, being able to take that technology with the stitch regulator, like you said, and now, if I want to echo on something on my Bernina at home, I have to have, I have a foot. So there's a limit. So I can
Right.
be a quarter of an inch or a half an inch, or I have to buy another foot.
Right.
And, those feet are not expensive. They're not expensive at all. They're so inexpensive that I can just have a ton of them. I don't even think twice about it.
Right.
But with this, we have
You
the
can use your
limit.
standard foot and have all of these features basically there
Right.
for you without having to buy that, because you got that built into the projector.
Exactly. So
Just so cool.
if I had to say anything negative about it, I would say I'm only disappointed that we don't have a ruler
ruler
foot
option.
adapter on it. But
that,
I am hopeful
it could be a yet
that
feature.
that moving forward. But that being said, and the only reason I say that is because ruler work is super popular and it's very hard to do without having a stitch regulator foot on it. So I'm hopeful that comes, but I am so ready for them to have this stitch regulator on the machine.
And if you
I've been
haven't
waiting for it
done
for years.
ruler work before, the stitch regulator option on that is cool because there's so many starts and stops to ruler
So
work
many.
that it's
Yes.
hard to get a consistent flow of your stitch.
Right.
This will fix that for you.
Mhm.
So if the ruler work worked with the stitch regulator, that would be bomb.
Absolutely. The other thing that you have on here that, before we had ruler work feet available to us, we drew the design. So, I mean,
You could
you
certainly
can
go that
buy
route.
a ruler, any
Draw it,
shape,
and
and
then
draw the
and then
design,
stitch over your drawing.
and then stitch over your drawing and
You know.
echo around your drawing to your heart's desire, because you have all of those abilities to do that. So there's 100 ways of getting around it.
around it. But
Yes.
it would be a really cool
It
add-on
would
feature at
be-
some point.
Yes,
Absolutely,
It's
for sure.
on my dream list of things that I want my dream machine to have. No pun intended. Someday.
Exactly. So yeah, very, very cool. And again, the combination of the different things that you can use one thing to help with another thing. It's just so cool. They did such a great job of integrating the different systems together.
Yes.
So we talked about the large hoop. We talked about the large projection. Did we talk about the throat? I don't remember. I feel like we said it very briefly at the
because we were
beginning.
talking about
the size
the
of the
projector
machine.
and how that moved over and,
Yep.
and all that stuff.
So we are jumping from a 13.1 to a 14.1 inch
Mhm.
throat. That's just amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
For a flatbed home machine, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
The precision placement, those are all of those guideline markers that we've
Mhm.
been talking
Mhm.
about. And the picture play is the creating from a photo.
Yeah.
So those are the big ticket items that they've put in here that are the
And,
big difference pieces.
Before you scroll all the way up, there is our height and length of the machine and width. We have had a lot of people concerned about the weight of the machine.
Mhm.
I think this is a good time to address that. So the actual machine itself is not substantially heavier.
Right. It's within a pound, I think, of the
Yeah,
luminaire.
I'm not even sure it was a pound heavier. I moved it today, and it didn't seem
No.
any different than the luminaire I moved
Right.
earlier.
So now the luminaire, that's not a luminaire. The embroidery
embroidery
arm,
is
so many words to say.
substantially heavier.
It is, because they've had to add the motors and the different things
Mhm.
to support
Yeah.
that larger hoop and make sure that we don't have slippage in our hoop.
Yeah.
So the designs start and end in the right spot.
I think the last thing we should show after we talk about everything is we'll
We can take
slide
the
the
two arms
embroidery
together.
module off and we'll put
Yeah,
them
for
next
sure.
to each other so
Absolutely.
that you can see what we're talking about in the differences.
Absolutely.
So it should fit like a lot of the sewing cabinets. If you had room for your luminaire and you had like left right room in there, some of the super large openings, the machine itself should still fit in there.
Yes.
And the weight, it shouldn't be a problem for the weight. It shouldn't
Not
be adding
anything
any more
from the weight. Your cabinet, if it held the Luminaire or Solaris, it should hold the Radiance or the Aveneer from a weight capacity.
Yes.
With no issues there.
It's going to be the...
If you have a drop bed cabinet for embroidery setup, so
Yes.
you're at that lower level for embroidery, you may need to have a different cutout on the back.
Yep.
And as soon as we have a chance, we will put that and see what kind of things that we're looking at for that. That's definitely a question, hey, I don't want to buy another cabinet. How can I make this work? So the weight, you absolutely should not be carrying this machine with the embroidery arm attached.
No.
So the weight of the machine is irrelevant in the aspect of change.
Yeah.
The embroidery arm is heavier, but you're going to carry that separately, and it's not heavier than the machine, so you're still good.
It's still less.
It's still
Weight-wise,
manageable
yeah.
weight-wise than the machine itself. So you are adding in weight, but not in a combined fashion that's going to affect your carrying ability. If you can move the machine, you can move the embroidery arm with no problem.
Right.
So we have gotten a lot of questions about the size, the shape,
Mhm.
and those kinds of things, and the weight. So it's a great point, way to grab that. Some other little things, the contrast is better for the projection itself. It's clear. They've really improved upon that. Increase the bobbin capacity. It's just a simple convenience feature. We always want more on our bobbin.
But they didn't change the bobbin.
The bobbin size is the same. They are just going to get more thread onto it.
They're allowing us to...
They've
the bobbin a little
remastered the actual winding mechanism so that it allows it to fill a little bit more before it clicks off and says, all done.
Yeah.
We still have the ability to adjust. Do I only want a partial bobbin or a half bobbin or something like that? You still have that little tab to adjust for that. So that's a really, I use that. I don't know if anybody else actually does, but like if I'm just hemming a pair of pants or shirt, whatever, I just need a little bit of sewing. How many times do you have like 20 million bobbins of random sewing thread and you're like, I don't even know what this matches anymore.
Right.
But you ran way too much, and so now you feel like you have to save it because you can't throw away that thread.
Right.
So it's one of those, it's a small convenience thing, but it can be super helpful as well. It's Wi-Fi. You can do your updates Wi-Fi if you have good Wi-Fi at home. I don't actually do that, even though I have it on the Luminaire. I just do the USB. What do you do?
Wi-Fi.
Do you? Even out in the boonies?
Yeah. I honestly, I never had, like, I've seen people have issues with their Wi-Fi.
You've never had anything?
I have never had it. But in fairness, I usually do my update at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Fair.
So
I definitely am not doing that at 6 o'clock in the morning.
There's not usually I would say a ton of people on the internet, and I have great Wi-Fi now. I just didn't, but I thought, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? I break it. I have to bring it to Tony. I'm on my way anyways.
There is that. Speaking of, if you are doing a Wi-Fi update and you have something in the memory of your machine that is the only place that you have it, it is a good idea to make a copy, because if for whatever reason your machine glitches in the middle of your update, the only way to get it out of that glitch is to reset the whole machine, which wipes that memory. Yeah. So before you do an update, if you have a super special design in your machine memory, I would throw it on a USB just to make sure you don't lose it.
Yeah. And you don't have to be a rebel like me. You can definitely do it via USB.
I mean, I have good internet. I had one time where it just spun and I have no idea why. Yeah. So I was like, okay, screw this. But it does work. I think it was, I have two signals, and I think that it was bouncing. Yeah. And so it wasn't staying where it needed to be. So I think it was actually my fault. But there you go. What are you going to do? Right. We talked about new hoop size. There's so many things. It's just absolutely crazy. The mouse.
Oh yeah, the mouse.
It has a wireless mouse capability, which means
Yeah.
we no longer have to have that cord.
We're not tethered to the cord.
We are not. And it sounds stupid, but I got to tell you, it's freaking huge in my opinion, because I can't tell you how many things I've knocked off my cabinet
Right.
from that mouse cord when I'm using the mouse.
Right. I can't wait to try a variety of mice in there, because those cheap mice that you buy with the cord that you have to use on the Luminaire,
Yeah,
they're
but
terrible.
the cheaper the better from a capacity of the machine reading
Yes,
it well.
Yes.
But I mean, wired mice they tend to have a lag anyways, because it's like the signal's got to go through the
Right.
whole cord.
Right.
But I'm excited about it.
I am too.
I heard somewhere that somebody said the Bluetooth worked as
Mhm.
well. I don't know. I do 100% know the little USB pop-in
Mhm.
wireless mouse will work.
Yeah.
So, and we might have some of those available.
Yeah.
Anyway, is there anything else? I think we're at our time.
I think that is the gist of it. I think we should show the embroidery modules.
Let's do that real quick.
Yeah,
And you want to,
I am.
okay, I'm
Mhm.
just going to get this out of the way.
You see what's over here?
They're so big.
Table's not big enough. Speaky.
So this is the Luminaire. It's crazy, isn't it?
I know. You know, drop it off the table.
Nope.
Especially not live on TV.
So, oh, that doesn't work. Let's try that again.
Let's try this.
All right.
Oh, too far.
So you can see from that,
Come on.
the height difference here is a, should we maybe try it,
There we go.
overlap a little bit so you
Yeah.
can see that a little bit easier. You've got solid inches longer
Right.
in the embroidery arm itself. So we've gotten a lot of questions as to whether this will fit in your current bag set. The machine, if you have a Luminaire, will fit in the
rolling bag.
the rolling bag for the Luminaire or the Slars. The machine will fit. It might be a little bit tighter because it's deeper, but it will fit. The embroidery arm will not fit in the cutouts in the embroidery arm cases.
And
But look at the
down
arm.
here, well, of course we have the span in case you couldn't see that. What if we do it like this? I'll hold this end up. So back
Look at
here,
this.
I know
That's literally,
and we've got a lot more stuff going
there's
on
different
over
motors
here.
and larger motor capacity in there to make sure that the start and the end of your embroidery ends up where they're supposed to.
Mhm.
That's why they built that strength in there.
Exactly.
And they did a beautiful job. They had it taken apart. I mean, they showed us the whole thing. This is, it's a big deal. Like, I don't know what else to say, but that is really, they did such a great job in the revamp of all of that. And now we're headless horsemen. Or we're head only
my
horsemen.
Let's put our eyes there. Hey, what's up?
Don't mind us. It's the end of the day.
We don't get out enough.
We don't get out enough.
Sorry.
Anyway, so that is
Oh, now
this
way far.
beautiful, beautiful machines. We have this shell is what they're calling it. So that we'll have that at No Buy, so you guys can actually see the physical piece. The Radiance, it looks exactly like this except for the coloring in the brand that's printed on the front.
And
So
we don't have a Radiance.
I do
shell.
not have a shell of that to show. We got on the list because of Novi, which is how we got this one. Because we had a show coming. So,
Exactly.
but hopefully within the next couple of weeks coming back from Novi, we'll have actual machines that the buttons do work. So that is what we've got for you.
Yeah.
Super
lot.
excited. It's a beautiful, beautiful machine. We did order a specific number of them. They're going to trickle in. I won't get all of them that I ordered. I'll get 2, then I'll get 3 or whatever deliver on the delivery list. So if you want on the list, let us know. We can put a deposit in and we can make sure that, wherever you were at on the list, you are up next in line so that you get it it sooner rather than later. So,
Absolutely.
and there is a beautiful package for the holiday gift guide
Mhm.
for Brother. There is a wonderful bundle for the Babylock as well. They are a little different.
Yep.
So, you know, if you don't care one from the other, maybe the bundle is, you know, well, I like this bundle. That's more what I need.
Right.
Better than, maybe that's how you make your decision as to which machine that you would like. And of course, we're always happy to answer your questions. So I don't see any more popping up in the comments section. So I think we're going to say goodbye for now.
Bye, yeah.
Next week, there will not be a full broadcast for like an hour. It'll just be a real quick thing. We'll try to pop on. The email will say, you know, that'll still have the, hey, we're going to be there, but we're going to be setting up for Novi next Wednesday. So we'll try to be like, hi, this is what we're doing. Come check us out, kind of whatever, so you guys can see where we're at and all those good things. But it'll be a shorter guide next week. So, and we would love to see you at Novi. So,
Yes, absolutely.
all right, got anything else?
I got nothing.
All right, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and
Bye.
subscribe and all those good things.
Mhm.
We'll see you next time.
See you next week.
Bye.